Play something funny for us, sweetheart. Like, I don't know, chopsticks? The words come from table 9, where 4 men in expensive suits have been drinking since the restaurant opened 3 hours ago. They're the kind of drunk that thinks it's charming, loud, entitled, assuming everyone around them exists for their entertainment. The one speaking has his arm draped over the back of his chair, grinning at me like he's just said something clever instead of insulting. I'm carrying a tray of dirty martini glasses when he says it, and my first instinct is to ignore him completely. I've been waitressing at Constellation for 8 months now, and I've developed a finely tuned sense for which customers want actual service and which ones want a reaction. These 4 want a reaction. I'm not giving them one. Your server will be with you shortly, I say, voice professionally pleasant, and start to move past their table toward the bar. Hey, I'm talking to you. The man's hand shoots out and catches my wrist, not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough to stop me. I saw you looking at the piano earlier. You play, right? So play something. Entertain us. The piano he's referring to sits on a raised platform near the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. It's a white Yamaha Grand, worth probably $60,000, and it's purely decorative. No one's played it in the 2 years since the restaurant opened. Management likes the aesthetic, the implication of culture and refinement, but actual music would interfere with the carefully curated ambiance of clinking glasses and murmured conversation. I don't play. I lie, because the truth is none of his business. Bullshit. He grins wider, and his friends laugh like he's a comedian instead of a drunk asshole. You've got pianist hands. See? He turns my wrist, displaying my hand to his companions like I'm livestock at auction. Long fingers, calluses on the fingertips. You play. I try to pull my hand back. His grip tightens. Gentlemen? The voice comes from directly behind me, and it's the kind of voice that makes the temperature in the room drop 5 degrees. Let her go. The man releases my wrist immediately, and I turn to find myself face to face with someone I've never seen before. He's tall, at least 6'3", with dark hair swept back from a face that's all sharp angles and harder edges. His suit is black, perfectly tailored, and probably costs more than I make in 6 months. But it's his eyes that catch me. They're dark gray, almost silver in the restaurant lighting, and they're currently fixed on table 9 with an expression that could freeze vodka. Mr. Fedorov, one of the men stammers, going pale. We were just harassing my staff, the man, Fedorov, finishes. His accent is Russian, but his English is flawless. Yes, I saw. Your staff? The drunk man who grabbed me looks confused. I thought Castellano owned this place. He did. As of 3 days ago, I do. Fedorov's gaze shifts to me, and something in those silver eyes makes my breath catch. Are you all right? I nod, not trusting my voice. Good. He looks back at table 9. Your bill will be sent to your office. You're done here. Leave. We haven't finished our... You're done. The words are quiet, but they carry absolute authority. And if I ever see you touch one of my employees again, we'll have a different kind of conversation, one that doesn't end with you walking out on your own legs. The threat is delivered calmly, almost pleasantly, but every man at that table goes white. They stand, fumbling with chairs, dropping napkins, and leave so quickly they nearly trip over each other. I'm left standing there with my tray of dirty glasses, staring at a man who just claimed ownership of the restaurant I work in without anyone telling me. A man who's now looking at me with an intensity that makes me want to either run or step closer, and I'm not sure which impulse is stronger. What's your name? He asks. Sloan. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. Sloan Brennan. Sloan. The way he says it sounds different. Slower, like he's tasting the syllables. You're a musician. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. I'm a waitress. That's your job. I asked what you are. His head tilts slightly, studying me. You looked at that piano earlier, not the way people look at furniture, but the way someone looks at something they miss. So I'll ask again. Are you a musician? The honest answer is yes. I have a bachelor's degree in piano performance from a conservatory I can't afford to have attended. I spent 18 years training, competing, practicing until my fingers bled and my back screamed. I was supposed to be a concert pianist. I was supposed to have a career, a life, a purpose beyond carrying trays and smiling at drunk men who think grabbing my wrist is acceptable behavior. But none of that pays rent. I used to be, I say finally. Interest sharpens in his expression. Play something. I'm working. Not anymore. As of... He checks his watch, which is definitely a Patek Philippe. Right now, you're off the clock. With pay. Go play. I can't just... You can. He gestures toward the piano. I own the restaurant. I'm telling you to play. Consider it a direct order from your new employer. There's something happening here that I don't understand. Some game being played that I don't know the rules to. But I've learned to recognize when refusing will cause more problems than complying, so I set down my tray on the nearest empty table and walk toward the piano. The platform is raised just enough that everyone in the restaurant will be able to see me. The piano bench is exactly the right height. Someone specified this instrument properly, even if no one's been using it. My hands hover over the keys for a moment, and I'm acutely aware that the entire restaurant has gone quiet, that everyone is watching, that Fedorov is standing at the edge of the platform with his arms crossed and those unsettling silver eyes fixed on me. I should play something safe, something pretty and uncomplicated that won't draw too much attention. A Chopin waltz maybe, or one of the more accessible Debussy preludes. Instead, my fingers drop to the keys and I play Shostakovich. The Prelude in D minor, Opus 34, number 24. It's dark and angry and technically brutal, full of dissonant chords and relentless rhythm. It's not restaurant music. It's not background ambiance. It's the kind of piece that demands attention, that forces people to listen whether they want to or not. It's also a piece about surviving in a world that wants to destroy you, which feels appropriate. My fingers remember the muscle memory even though I haven't practiced in 2 years. The notes come faster, building tension until the final cascade of chords that ends on a deliberately unresolved note. The whole thing takes maybe 3 minutes, and when I finish, the silence in the restaurant is absolute. Then someone starts clapping. It's Fedorov. He's the only one applauding, but he does it slowly, deliberately. And after a moment, the rest of the restaurant joins in with scattered, uncertain applause. I stand up from the bench, face flushed, hands shaking slightly from adrenaline, and step down from the platform. Fedorov is waiting. Not what I expected, he says quietly. You told me to play. You didn't specify what. No, I didn't. Something that might be amusement flickers across his face. That was Shostakovich, the last prelude from Opus 34, written during Stalin's purges, when Shostakovich was convinced he'd be arrested and executed at any moment. The fact that he recognizes the piece, that he knows the historical context, surprises me enough that I respond honestly. It seemed appropriate. Did it? He steps closer, and I catch the scent of expensive cologne mixed with something else. Leather, maybe. Or gun oil. Why would that be appropriate, Sloane? Because I'm being watched by someone dangerous, and I don't know what he wants from me. The words are out before I can stop them, and I immediately regret the honesty. But Fedorov just smiles. It's not a comforting expression. Smart girl. Come with me. I need to... Now. He's already walking toward the back of the restaurant, clearly expecting me to follow. I should refuse. Should find Dominic, the floor manager, and ask what the hell is going on. Should demand to know if this man actually owns Constellation or if he's running some elaborate scam. Instead, I follow him. We end up in the office that used to belong to Castellano, the previous owner who apparently sold the restaurant without telling any of us. Fedorov closes the door behind us, and suddenly the space feels much smaller. He moves behind the desk with the ease of ownership, opens a drawer, and pulls out a folder. Sloane Brennan, he reads, and I realize he's reading about me. 27 years old, bachelor's degree in piano performance from Oberlin Conservatory, graduated summa cum laude, apprenticed with... He looks up. You studied with Catherine Wexler? For 2 years. Catherine Wexler is one of the most respected piano teachers in the country. Getting an apprenticeship with her is like winning the lottery. Before she died. And then? And then I had $60,000 in student loans and no income. I cross my arms, defensive. Performing doesn't pay rent, so I waitress. You waitress at Constellation specifically because we serve the kind of clientele who might recognize talent and offer opportunities. He says it like he's reading my mind. You've been here 8 months. Has anyone offered you anything? The question stings because the answer is no. I've served dozens of wealthy people, some of whom probably have connections in the music world, and not one has ever asked about my background or shown interest in anything other than their dinner reservation. That's what I thought. Fedorov closes the folder. You're wasting your talent serving drinks to people who don't deserve your time. It's called survival. It's called hiding. He leans back in the chair, Castellano's chair, which is apparently his chair now. You play Shostakovich like you're angry at the world. Why? I'm not. Don't lie. The way you attacked those keys, the way you chose the most aggressive piece in the repertoire, you're furious. At what? Failed career? Student loans? Men who grab your wrist and demand entertainment? All of the above? I should leave. This conversation is getting too personal, too invasive, but something about his directness makes it impossible to deploy the usual defensive politeness. Why do you care? Because I'm making you an offer. My stomach drops. What kind of offer? I'm hosting a private event in 2 weeks. Very exclusive, very important. I need live music, not a string quartet, not a DJ, a pianist, someone who can play with emotion, who understands darkness. His eyes hold mine. Someone like you. You heard me play for 3 minutes. 3 minutes was enough. He stands, moves around the desk, and suddenly he's very close. I'll pay you $50,000 for 1 evening, 4 hours of music. You choose the repertoire. The number physically rocks me back. $50,000. That's almost my entire annual salary for 4 hours of work. That's my student loans paid down significantly. That's breathing room, safety, the ability to stop working 7 days a week. That's too good to be true. What's the catch? I ask. No catch. You play piano at a private event. You dress appropriately. I'll provide the wardrobe. You perform for my guests. That's all. That's not all. I force myself to hold his gaze even though everything in me wants to look away. Men don't offer $50,000 for nothing. What do you really want? For the first time, genuine respect crosses his face. You're right to be suspicious. Here's the truth. My guests will be people I need to impress. Dangerous people. Powerful people. I need them to see that I have access to beauty, to culture, to things they don't. You. He gestures at me. Playing that piano with that fury and precision will accomplish that. So I'm a status symbol. You're a weapon. He says it without apology. A beautiful, talented weapon I'm going to use to prove a point. The honesty is brutal, but at least it's honest. And if I say no, then you say no. You go back to waitressing. I find someone else, someone less talented, less interesting, but adequate. He tilts his head. But you're not going to say no, are you, Sloane? You seem very sure of that. I am. Because you've been waiting for someone to see you, really see you, for 8 months. And I see you. He reaches out and traces one finger down the back of my hand, following the line of a tendon. I see a musician pretending to be something smaller. I see fury and talent and hunger for something more, and I'm offering you a chance to be seen by others. His touch sends electricity up my arm, and I pull my hand back. This is insane. Most good offers are. He slides a business card across the desk. Think about it. You have 48 hours to decide. Call that number if you're interested. And if I'm not? Then you keep serving drinks and pretending you don't hate every second of it? He opens the door, dismissing me. But we both know you're going to call. I take the card because refusing it would be admitting he's right, and walk out of the office with my head held high and my heart racing. I make it all the way home, a studio apartment in a building where the elevator works maybe 60% of the time, before I let myself really think about what just happened. $50,000, 4 hours of music, a chance to be seen. I look at the business card. It's simple. A phone number, nothing else. No name, no title, no company, just 10 digits and the weight of a choice I know I'm going to make. Because he's right. I am going to call. I just need to pretend for a little while longer that I'm not. I last 36 hours before I call the number. A woman answers. Professional voice, neutral accent. Mr. Fedorov is expecting your call. Please hold. There's a click, and then his voice. Sloan. How did you know it was me? Because you're predictable in exactly one way. You wait until the last possible moment to make decisions you're afraid of. I can hear the smile in his voice. You're calling to accept. I'm calling to negotiate. Interesting. He sounds genuinely intrigued. Go ahead. 60,000, not 50. Done. What else? The fact that he agreed instantly tells me he would have paid more, which means I should have asked for more, but I'm not greedy, just desperate. I want half up front, before the event. Reasonable. Anything else? I want to know exactly who's going to be at this event. If they're dangerous, I deserve to know what I'm walking into. There's a pause. That's not how this works. Then we don't have a deal. I'm bluffing, and he probably knows it, but I hold my ground anyway. Another pause, longer this time. You won't know their names, but I'll tell you this. They're all men like me, men who built empires in industries that don't appear on tax returns, men who understand power and violence and loyalty. You'll be safe, I guarantee your safety absolutely, but you won't be comfortable. Safe, but not comfortable. Great sales pitch. I'm not selling Sloan, I'm offering an opportunity. There's a difference. His voice drops lower, more intimate. But if you're truly afraid, say no. I meant what I said. You can walk away. I should walk away. Everything about this screams danger. But $60,000 and a chance to play real music for people who might actually listen. I'm not afraid. I lie. Good. A car will pick you up tomorrow at 2 p.m. We need to get you fitted for wardrobe. I can wear my own. No, you can't. Trust me on this. He pauses. And Sloan? Thank you. For what? For being brave enough to say yes. He hangs up before I can respond, and I'm left staring at my phone, wondering what I've just agreed to. The car that picks me up the next day is a black Mercedes with tinted windows and a driver who doesn't speak. We drive for 20 minutes into a part of the city where the buildings are older, more industrial, and then pull up to what looks like an abandoned warehouse. This can't be right, I say, but the driver just opens my door and gestures for me to exit. I'm 3 steps from the car when a woman appears in the warehouse doorway. She's maybe 50, impeccably dressed in all black, with silver hair pulled into a severe bun. Ms. Brennan? I'm Irina. Come. I follow her into the warehouse, which turns out to be anything but abandoned. Inside is a full boutique. Racks of designer dresses, shelves of shoes, display cases of jewelry. It's like stepping into a private shopping experience for someone with unlimited resources. Mr. Fedorov was very specific about what he wants, Irina says, leading me to a raised platform surrounded by mirrors. Remove your clothes, please. I need to take measurements. I can just tell you my size. Sizes are approximations. Mr. Fedorov requires perfection. She's already holding a measuring tape, waiting. I undress down to my underwear, feeling exposed and uncomfortable under the bright lights and multiple mirror angles. Irina measures everything, not just bust and waist and hips, but arm length, shoulder width, the distance from shoulder to hip. She writes numbers in a small notebook, her expression clinical. Good, she finally says. You have a dancer's build. Long limbs, good posture. The dresses will work. Dresses? Plural? Mr. Fedorov ordered 3. 1 for the event, 2 alternates in case you prefer different options. She disappears into the racks and returns with a garment bag. This is the primary choice. She unzips the bag and I stop breathing. The dress is midnight blue, so dark it's almost black, with a high neckline and long sleeves. It looks modest until Irina turns it around, and I see that the entire back is open, cut down to the base of the spine. The fabric is silk, and it shimmers like water in the light. "I can't wear that," I whisper. "You can and you will. Try it on." I slip into the dress, and Irina zips the side. When I turn to look in the mirrors, I barely recognize myself. The dress fits like it was made for me, which technically it was, and the open back makes it clear I'm not wearing a bra. The effect is elegant but undeniably sensual. It says expensive and untouchable and mine all at once. "Perfect," Irina says with satisfaction. "Shoes." She brings me heels, black, simple, with ankle straps that buckle with tiny locks instead of regular fasteners. When I raise an eyebrow, she just smiles. "Mr. Fedorov's instructions. The shoes don't come off during the event." That seems excessive. That seems like a man who thinks of everything. She's already bringing jewelry, a diamond necklace so delicate it looks like frost, matching earrings. "These are on loan. You'll return them after the event." "How much are they worth?" "More than you want to know." She fastens the necklace, and the diamonds settle against my collarbones like ice. "There, look." I look at myself in the mirrors, all angles, surrounded by my own reflection, and I don't recognize the woman staring back. She's elegant, she's expensive, she's the kind of woman who belongs at exclusive events with dangerous men. She's not me. Except she is, and that's the terrifying part. "The event is in 12 days, Irina says, already helping me out of the dress. "You'll have the dress delivered 3 days prior. Instructions for hair and makeup will be included. Do you have questions?" I have 1,000 questions, but the only one that matters is, what am I really doing at this event? Irina pauses, meeting my eyes in the mirror. "You're playing piano, Ms. Brennan. Everything else is Mr. Fedorov's business." It's not an answer, but it's all I'm going to get. The days before the event blur together in a haze of anxiety and preparation. The dress arrives as promised, along with a packet of instructions that includes photos of how my hair should be styled, down, loose waves, how my makeup should look, dramatic eyes, nude lips, and what time the car will pick me up, 6 p.m. exactly. There's also a bank receipt showing that $30,000, half the payment, has been deposited into my account. I stare at that receipt for a long time, watching my checking account balance do something it's never done before. Contain a comma. This is real. This is happening. The morning of the event, I'm too nervous to eat. I practice on my electric keyboard. A cheap thing I bought secondhand that doesn't sound anything like a real piano, but keeps my fingers trained, running through repertoire choices. Should I play safe? Chopin nocturnes and Debussy preludes? Pretty pieces that won't challenge anyone? Or should I do what Fedorov asked and play with darkness? In the end, I choose darkness. Because if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to walk into a room full of dangerous men and perform like I'm not terrified, I might as well be honest about it. I choose Rachmaninoff, Prokofiev, Liszt, the kind of repertoire that requires technical perfection and emotional vulnerability in equal measure, the kind of music that will either captivate an audience or make me look like a pretentious fool. The car arrives at exactly 6 p.m. The same silent driver from before opens the door, and I slide into the back seat wearing the midnight blue dress and the locked heels and the borrowed diamonds. My hands are shaking, so I fold them in my lap and try to breathe steadily as we drive. We don't go to a hotel or a concert hall or any venue I recognize. Instead, we drive to the waterfront, to a building that looks like it used to be a warehouse but has been converted into something else, something exclusive. There are no signs, no indicators of what happens here, just a heavy door flanked by 2 men built like tanks. The driver opens my door, and I step out on shaking legs. One of the tank men opens the door immediately, like he was expecting me, and I walk into a world I've only ever imagined. The interior is all exposed brick and industrial lighting, but with a layer of luxury that makes it clear this space costs thousands per hour to rent. There's a bar along one wall, already staffed, small tables scattered throughout, each with a candle centerpiece, and at the far end of the space, on a raised platform, sits a black Steinway grand piano that probably costs more than my car, if I had a car. There are maybe 40 people here already. All men, all wearing expensive suits, all speaking in low voices that stop when I enter. Every eye in the room turns to me, and I feel the weight of their attention like a physical thing. Then Fedorov is there, appearing at my elbow like he materialized from shadows. "Sloane," his voice is low, meant only for me. "You look perfect." I look terrified. "You look perfect," he repeats. "Come, I'll introduce you to the piano." He guides me through the room with a hand on the small of my back, possessive, proprietary, and I'm acutely aware that his palm is against my bare skin, that the dress allows for that contact. We climb the 3 steps to the platform, and suddenly I'm above the crowd, visible to everyone. "They're going to watch you," Fedorov says quietly. "They're going to assess you, measure you, try to understand what you mean to me. Ignore them. Play for yourself." "What do I mean to you?" The question escapes before I can stop it. He turns to face me, and those silver eyes hold mine with an intensity that steals my breath. "That depends entirely on how tonight goes." Then he's gone, descending the platform and moving to join a group of men who look like they're discussing business or murder, probably both. I'm alone with the piano and 40 dangerous men, and a choice I can't take back. So I sit down at the bench, position my hands over the keys, and I play. I start with Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C-sharp minor, the Bells of Moscow prelude that's all dark chords and relentless rhythm. It's technically demanding and emotionally brutal, and it fills the space with sound that demands attention. The room goes absolutely silent. I play the first piece without stopping, letting the muscle memory carry me through passages I haven't performed in years. When the final chord fades, there's a moment of perfect silence, and then someone starts clapping. It's Fedorov again, but this time others join in. Scattered applause that sounds genuine instead of polite. I don't acknowledge it. I just move directly into the next piece. Prokofiev's Suggestion Diabolique. It's vicious and sharp and exactly as aggressive as the title suggests, full of dissonant intervals and technical fireworks. It's the kind of piece that makes audiences uncomfortable, that forces them to feel something other than passive entertainment. I play it with everything I have. All the rage and fear and desperation that's been building for 2 years of serving drinks and smiling at drunk men and pretending I'm not dying inside. When I finish, the silence is different, heavier. I risk a glance at the audience and find them staring at me with expressions ranging from shock to fascination to something that might be hunger, and Fedorov, standing at the back of the room with his arms crossed, is smiling like I've just given him exactly what he wanted. I play for 90 minutes straight, no breaks, no acknowledgement of the audience, just piece after piece of the most technically demanding and emotionally complex repertoire I know. Liszt's La Campanella, which is basically a flex of technical ability. Chopin's Ballade No. 1, which requires telling a story through music. Debussy's L'Île Joyeuse, which is pure color and impressionism. By the time I finish, my hands are aching and my back is screaming, and I'm exhausted in a way that has nothing to do with physical tiredness. The applause this time is thunderous. Men are standing, calling out what I assume are compliments in languages I don't speak. Several are approaching the platform, and I tense, not sure if I'm supposed to interact or remain silent. Fedorov appears before any of them reach me. "That's enough," he says to the room at large, and everyone stops moving. "Ms. Brennan needs a break." He offers his hand, and I take it because my legs are shaking too badly to stand without support. He guides me down from the platform, through the crowd that parts for him like water, to a private door I hadn't noticed before. We enter a small room, an office maybe, or a private lounge, and he closes the door behind us. The sound of the party becomes muffled, distant. "Sit," he says, pointing to a leather sofa. I sit because standing seems impossible. He pours water from a crystal pitcher, brings it to me, watches until I drink. You were magnificent. I was showing off. My voice is hoarse. That repertoire, it's designed to impress, not to connect. You did both. He sits beside me, close enough that I can feel his body heat. Do you know what you just did? Played piano for dangerous men? You made them feel something. Those men out there. He gestures toward the door. They've spent decades building armor, becoming immune to emotion, to vulnerability, to anything that might make them weak, and you just force them to feel things they've been avoiding. That was the point? That was exactly the point. His hand comes up, and he traces the line of my jaw with one finger. You're extraordinary, Sloane. Do you know that? The touch sends shivers down my spine, and I should pull away, but I can't seem to move. I'm a waitress who plays piano. You're a musician who survives by waitressing? There's a difference. His finger trails down to my throat, rests against my pulse point. Your heart is racing. I just performed for 90 minutes. That's not why it's racing. His eyes hold mine, and there's hunger there. Not just desire, but something deeper. You're afraid of me. Should I be? Probably. He doesn't move his hand. I'm not a good man, Sloane. I do things that would horrify you. I make choices most people couldn't live with. But I've never lied to you, and I won't start now. What do you want from me? The question is barely a whisper. Everything! His thumb brushes against my pulse. I want you to play for me. I want to watch you lose yourself in music. I want to see you stop pretending to be smaller than you are. I want... He pauses, and something vulnerable flickers across his face. I want someone who isn't afraid to see all of me and still choose to stay. You don't know me well enough to want that. Don't I? His hand drops away, but his eyes don't leave mine. I know you're brave enough to play Prokofiev for a room full of killers. I know you negotiate when you're terrified. I know you chose the blue dress because it felt like armor. I know... His voice drops lower. I know you're attracted to me even though every logical part of your brain is screaming that I'm dangerous. You are dangerous. Yes, he doesn't deny it, but you're still here. He's right, and I hate that he's right. I should have left the moment I finished performing, should have taken my $30,000 and walked away. But I'm sitting on this sofa, letting him touch my throat, feeling my body respond to his proximity in ways I don't want to examine. I need to get back, I say, standing up too quickly. The performance is over. You did your 4 hours. He stands with me, and suddenly we're very close in the small space. But if you want to leave, I'll have someone drive you home. That's it? We're done? The contract is fulfilled. You met your obligation. His hand comes up, catches a strand of my hair, winds it around his finger. But if you stay, if you have dinner with me, let me take care of you for the rest of the evening. That's not part of the contract. That's a choice. What kind of choice? The kind where you decide if you want to see where this goes. He releases my hair, steps back, giving me space. No pressure, no expectations, just dinner and conversation with someone who sees you. I should say no. Should take the safe option, the smart option, the option that doesn't involve getting tangled up with a man who probably has a body count. Okay, I hear myself say. His smile is devastating. Good. Come. Dinner is served in another private room, this one with a view of the water and the city lights reflecting on the dark surface. The table is set for 2. Intimate, not ostentatious, and the food appears in courses brought by silent staff who vanish immediately after serving. You're good at this, I observe, watching him pour wine with practiced ease. At what? Creating illusions, making everything seem elegant and refined when we both know what you really are. And what am I? He's genuinely curious, not offended. Someone dangerous pretending to be civilized. I take a sip of the wine. It's perfect, of course. But the pretense is thin. I'm not pretending. He cuts into whatever expensive meat is on his plate. I am civilized. I appreciate beauty, culture, art. I also happen to operate in industries that require violence. Both things can be true. How do you reconcile that? I don't. He looks at me over the rim of his wine glass. Reconciliation implies conflict. I'm comfortable with all aspects of who I am. The question is whether you can be. Can be what? Comfortable with who I am. He sets down his glass. Because I'm going to keep pursuing you, Sloane. Tonight proved that you're everything I thought you'd be. Talented, fierce, unafraid to show darkness. And I want that in my life. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you're brave and intelligent and hiding from a world that didn't give you the chances you deserved. I know you play music like you're exorcising demons. I know... His voice drops. I know you feel this too. This pull. This recognition. I do feel it, and that's the terrifying part. Since the moment he appeared at my table in the restaurant, there's been this sense of inevitability, like we're both moving towards something neither of us can control. I'm not interested in being someone's project, I say carefully. If this is about rescuing the poor, struggling musician, this is about wanting you. He's direct, unflinching. Not rescuing, not fixing, wanting. There's a difference. What do you want exactly? Your company, your time, your music. He pauses. You, in whatever capacity you're willing to give. That sounds like a transaction. Everything is a transaction. The question is whether both parties feel the value is equal. He leans forward slightly. I'm offering you financial security. The ability to focus on music without worrying about rent. Access to instruments, venues, opportunities. In exchange, I want you in my life. At dinners, events. Playing for me when I ask. Being someone I can talk to who understands both beauty and darkness. That sounds like you want to own me. I want to support you. If that looks like ownership, we can negotiate the terms. His eyes hold mine. But be honest, Sloane. What's your alternative? Keep waitressing? Keep hiding your talent? Keep pretending you don't want more? The words hit harder than they should because he's right. I am hiding. I have been hiding for 2 years, convincing myself that survival is enough, that I don't need anything more than paying rent and avoiding debt. But tonight, playing that piano, feeling the music flow through me, being seen and heard and appreciated, reminded me of what I've been missing. I need time to think, I say finally. Of course. He doesn't seem disappointed. Think all you want, but while you're thinking, know this. I'm not going away. I'm not losing interest. I want you, and I'm patient enough to wait until you're ready to admit you want this too. The confidence should be arrogant, but instead it's just honest. He knows what he wants, and he's willing to pursue it. There's something almost refreshing about that level of directness. We finish dinner making careful small talk. He asks about my training. I ask about his business. He deflects smoothly. By the time dessert arrives, I'm exhausted in every possible way. I should go home, I say, setting down my fork. I'll have someone drive you. He stands, offers his hand. But first, come with me. One more thing. I let him lead me back through the building, past the main space where the event is still happening, quieter now, men in small groups drinking and talking. We climb stairs to a second floor I didn't know existed, and he opens a door to reveal a room that makes me stop breathing. It's a music studio, a full concert grand piano, even nicer than the one downstairs. Recording equipment, soundproofing, everything a serious pianist would need to practice, perform, create. This is yours, Fedorov says quietly, if you want it. Mine? To use whenever you want, 24/7 access, no obligations, no strings, just a space where you can be yourself without worrying about thin walls or neighbors or anything else. He pulls out a key card, offers it to me. Think of it as an investment in your talent. I stare at the key card, not taking it. Why would you do this? Because I heard you play tonight, and the idea of that talent being wasted makes me irrationally angry. His voice is low, intense. Because you deserve better than an electric keyboard in a shitty apartment. Because I can give this to you, and I want to. And what do you get out of it? The knowledge that you're playing somewhere, creating music, being who you're supposed to be. He presses the key card into my hand. Sometimes, Sloane, people do things because they want to, not because they're getting something in return. I close my fingers around the key card, feeling the plastic sharp against my palm. This is too much. It's not enough. He steps closer, and I can smell his cologne, feel his heat. But it's a start. Use the studio. Play. And when you're ready to have the bigger conversation about what this is, he gestures between us. Call me. Then he's walking me downstairs, putting me in the car, closing the door with a final look that promises this is far from over. I make it home in a daze, still wearing the midnight blue dress and the locked heels and the borrowed diamonds. It's only when I'm finally alone in my apartment that I let myself really process what just happened. I played piano for dangerous men and got paid $60,000. I was offered financial security and a music studio and a place in someone's life. I was seen, really seen, by someone who understands darkness, and despite every logical reason to run, I'm holding a keycard and thinking about when I can go back to that studio and play. I wait 3 days before using the keycard. 3 days of telling myself this is crazy, that I should return the key and the remaining $30,000 and walk away from Fedorov and everything he represents. 3 days of trying to convince myself that I don't want this, don't need this, don't crave the feeling of being seen and wanted and supported. On the 4th day, I give up pretending. The studio is in the same building where the event was held, but the daytime version is different, quieter, less ominous. The tank men at the door nod when I show the keycard, and one of them even smiles. Barely, but still. I take the stairs to the 2nd floor, use the key card on the studio door, and step into the space that Fedorov claims is mine. In the daylight streaming through the windows, it's even more beautiful. The piano is a Steinway Model D, the same instrument used in concert halls worldwide. The recording equipment is professional grade. There's even a small library of sheet music on built-in shelves. I sit at the piano bench, rest my hands on the keys, and for the first time in 2 years, I let myself just play without worrying about noise complaints or time limits or anything else. I play for 3 hours straight, working through repertoire I haven't touched in years, and when I finally stop, my hands are aching and my soul feels lighter. Beautiful. I spin around to find Fedorov leaning against the doorframe, watching. I don't know how long he's been there. I didn't hear you come in, I say, pulling my hands back from the keys. You were lost in the music, I didn't want to interrupt. He moves into the room, graceful and dangerous. What were you playing? The last piece. Ravel, Gaspard de la Nuit. It's one of the most technically difficult pieces in the piano repertoire, and I'm rusty on it, but the bones are still there. Appropriate. He stops a few feet away, giving me space. Did you come here to think, or to decide? Both, maybe. I stand, needing to not feel trapped at the piano. Thank you. For the studio. It's incredible. You're welcome. He tilts his head. But that's not what you came here to tell me. He's right, and I hate that he can read me so easily. I can't be what you want. What do I want? Someone who fits into your world. Someone comfortable with violence and danger and whatever else you do. I'm a musician, not... I gesture vaguely. Whatever this is. You're someone who played Prokofiev for 40 dangerous men without flinching. You're someone brave enough to negotiate while terrified. You already fit into my world, Sloane. You just don't want to admit it. That's not... He closes the distance between us in 2 strides, and suddenly he's right there, invading my space in a way that should be threatening, but instead makes my pulse spike for entirely different reasons. Tell me you don't feel this, he says quietly, intensely. Tell me you don't want this. Tell me you can walk away and never think about me again. If you can say that honestly, I'll let you go. I open my mouth to say exactly that, to lie convincingly and escape before this gets more complicated, but the words won't come. Because I do feel this. I do want this, despite every logical reason not to. And the idea of walking away and never seeing him again makes something in my chest constrict painfully. I can't, I whisper. Can't what? Can't tell you I don't want this. The admission feels like stepping off a cliff. But I don't know how to do this. How to be with someone like you. Someone like me. He reaches up, traces the line of my jaw with infinite gentleness. I'm just a man, Sloane. A man who wants you. The rest, he shrugs. We'll figure out. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple. His thumb brushes across my lower lip. You want me, I want you. Everything else is details. Details like the fact that you do illegal things, that you're dangerous, that being with you probably puts me at risk. Yes. He doesn't deny any of it. All of that is true. But I'll protect you. I'll keep you safe. And in exchange, his voice drops lower. You be yourself. You play music and challenge me and show me beauty in a world that's mostly darkness. That's not an equal exchange, isn't it? His hand slides into my hair, gentle but firm. You think beauty isn't valuable? You think having someone who sees me, all of me, and doesn't run isn't worth protecting? Put that way, it almost makes sense. Almost. I'm scared, I admit. Good. You should be. He pulls me closer until there's barely any space between us. But be scared with me. Let me show you what this could be. And if I can't handle it, if your world is too much, then you walk away. I'll hate it, but I'll let you go. His eyes hold mine, and I can see the truth there. But at least try, Sloane. At least give us a chance. I should say no, should protect myself, stay safe, avoid the inevitable complications. But when he's looking at me like that, like I'm something precious and dangerous all at once, logic seems impossible. Okay, I whisper. His smile is brilliant and slightly predatory. Good. Now kiss me before you change your mind. So I do, and the world falls away. 3 weeks later, Sloane Brennan plays her first public concert in 2 years, a private recital at the same venue where she first performed for Fedorov's Associates. The audience is different this time. Music critics, industry professionals, people who can open doors she thought were permanently closed. In the back of the room, Fedorov watches with proprietary pride, and when she finishes, the standing ovation lasts 5 minutes. Afterward, in his office, he hands her a contract for a recording session. "What's this?" she asks. "The next step," he says. "Your music deserves to be heard. I'm making that happen." She looks at the contract. The recording label is prestigious, the terms generous, and then at him. "Why?" "Because you're mine," he says simply, "and I take care of what's mine." It should sound possessive, controlling. Instead, it sounds like a promise. And Sloane realizes she's stopped fighting what this is, stopped pretending she wants to walk away. She's exactly where she chose to be, in the orbit of a dangerous man who sees her, wants her, and will burn down the world to keep her safe. And somehow that's exactly what she needs.